Assalamualaikum, my name is Sasmilana Meti Jafri and my metric number is 273689, and I will start the presentation with question number 1, which is about Denmark and Netherlands political, economy and social environment with 5 key economic performance indicators that we have chosen for the past 10 years, which is GDP, unemployment rate, inflation rate, CPI and also export price rate. This indicator shows that each country has different situations that affect the country. So in Denmark 2010, government securities will function well, but then in the next year, Danish bank shares have fallen due to absorbed bank Morse health, which impacts stakeholders to experience losses. Furthermore, the unemployment level has reached its highest point in the first quarter of 2012, hence they were struggling to meet their growth forecast and government wants to reform a welfare to strengthen the social model. Then Denmark has decided to lower the expectation of GDP, and in 2014, the most concerned issue is related to a high household debt. But in the next year, Denmark assumed to have a high GDP growth with solid foundation, and the government also has repaid $1.5 billion loan, where it marked as the biggest achievement for the country. Lastly, in the face of pandemic COVID-19, Denmark recorded its deepest fall in GDP. For environment in Netherlands, the worldwide financial and also economic crisis has heavily impacted on Dutch government, but there is an increase in export and investment spending in the first half of 2011. There was also political issue occurred regarding foreign aid and tax relief. In 2012, unemployment rate increased because the slowness of the employment recovery and also political instability. But during 2019, the export performance has been affected by the lower demand from abroad due to COVID-19 pandemic and Brexit that increased the global trade uncertainty. That's all from me. Thank you.
Hi and Assalamualaikum. My name is Nurul Amira binti Aznan. My metric number is 273268. Now, I'll continue about major of financial crisis in Denmark and Netherlands. So, the major financial crisis in Denmark is international financial institutions. Danske Bank, known as a large financial institution in Denmark, records deficit, especially in deposit sector. This is because they experience high level liquidity due to high level of capital markets financing. Then, as for Netherlands, the major financial crisis is a banking sector that give a negative impact on Dutch economy. Netherlands government also built a huge scheme to rescue a bank. As a result, government had to nationalism a significant number of banks because of more liquidity in their economy. Next, for the Denmark and Netherlands country, IMF also help and advise to stabilize their economy. IMF also help them to give solutions to encourage future recovery. For example, in Denmark, article reports 2021, IMF experts team analysis the economics, monitoring, and also give suggestions for the domestic economy that changed recently. For the Netherlands, IMF also helped them to stabilize the global financial system, provide technical assistance, and so on. For example, IMF staff also visit Netherlands in 2020 to predict the real GDP. So, in conclusion, Denmark and Netherlands not frequently visit the IMF. They visit if have a big financial or economic crisis that give a big impact to their country. Sometimes IMF also visits their country to give benefits and help the country to stabilize their economy. That's all for me. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Najwa Suraya binti Tamizi and my metric number 273165. For Denmark, there is a new coalition government for the 2019 election, namely Venstre, the Liberal Alliance, and the Conservative People's Party, and is supported by the Danish People's Party and Nunata Kitornai. The ruling parties for the country are from governments such as Venstre, the Liberal Alliance, and the Conservative People's Party. And every 4 years, the country will hold elections for a change of government. The Netherlands, on the other hand, did not see any change in the coalition government in this new election, and is still held by the People's Party for Freedom and Democracy, Christian Democratic Appeal, Democrat 66, and Christian Union. These parties are the ruling party in the government, and election will be held in the same way as in Denmark, which is every 4 years.
Assalamualaikum and hi everyone. My name is Anissa Azlin binti Cik Ramli. My metric number is 273003 and I will continue with question 5 and question 6. So as we can see in Denmark, regional diversity has emerged as a prominent component of interaction according to many taxonomies. In both internal and external contexts, researchers look at the intercultural communication with various parties. The establishment of a universal common culture which is frequently developed as a solution to language barriers and coordination concerns amongst individuals from various bilingual speakers doesn't appear to be sufficient. English is commonly used as the corporate lingua franca to regulate communication channels, especially in organizations based in English-speaking and Scandinavian nations. While in Netherlands, regional governance is under strain in this time of economic crisis, political distrust and increased competition for housing. The presence of these network forms of regional collaboration is frequently due to innovative policies. It thus could become more essential when its legitimacy is questioned and more structured forms of governance such as judgment call of particular groups and regions prepare to take control. Next, we move to the impact of China's Belt and Road on Denmark and Netherlands. The first one is policy dialogue. They managed to establish a multi-tiered intergovernmental system for macro policy conversations in order to strengthen shared interests, find a compromise, and build political trust. Next is accessibility of structures. It is to enhance core infrastructure projects, achieve technical standard coherence, and progressively build a connectivity network to connect to Europe. And the last one is people-to-people exchange. It is to establish some documentations for culture, educational and talent collaborations, as well as teaching, multimedia collaboration, and youth and females debates. Cross-border tourism, prevention and treatment, collaborative research centers for academics and political groups, and also legislative exchange are all available ways to improve mutual comprehensions. That's all from my part. Thank you, and I will pass to the next presenter.
Hi, my name is Diwala Nakivira Tamilarsan and my metric number is 273164. This slide is about anti-money laundering of Denmark and Netherlands. Denmark is home to a variety of commercial interests, including several worldwide enterprise groups. It has one of the largest and wealthiest economies in Europe and the globe. Denmark had also implemented a preceptive anti-money laundering and counter-terrorist funding rule, which would be governed by the Financial Supervisory Authority, FSA. Denmark, Greenland, and the Faroe Islands make up the Kingdom of Denmark. Experts think that the overall yearly money laundering capability in Denmark is around euro 2.8 billion, which includes revenues and lacks a national anti-money laundering strategy, and has failed to establish that it has anti-money laundering regulations. Consequently, separate responsible organization aims and operation are detected by their own priorities and not coordinated. The Netherlands is a country with a high risk of money laundering. As a result, the Netherlands has extensive anti-money laundering laws. The Dutch Ministry of Finance has also released a general directive on the implementation of the Money Laundering and Terrorism Financing Act, WWFT, as well as the Sanction Act, SW. Sanction Scanner is an anti-money laundering (AML) compliance software. It assists business in combating money laundering and terrorist funding by delivering solutions tailored to their specific needs. The Kingdom of Netherlands is the official name for the Netherlands. It is made up of Netherlands as well as the 3 Caribbean islands. As a conclusion, Denmark and Netherlands are 2 of Europe's as well as the world's most prosperous countries. They have made equal progress up to this point. Denmark's economy, although being successful, is extremely dependent on external commerce due to its small size, advanced economy, and chronic current account surplus. That's why, as a result of the COVID-19 crisis, the country's GDP fell the most in the yearly portion of 2020. Apart from that, Denmark's real GDP is projected by a healthy 2.8% in 2021. And the nation's public finances are in good shape, with one of the lowest debt to GDP ratios in Europe, despite the fact that the government's response to the crisis resulted in an increase with one of the highest GDP per capita in the world. The Danish economic system is characterized by an equal distribution of wealth and significant government social programs. On the other side, the Netherlands is the Eurozone's 6th largest economy and 5th largest exporter of products. The healing in Europe has enabled the Netherlands business to function at an energetic rate in recent years, but global trade or lack of certainty, the exit from the European Union process, and most importantly, the spread of COVID-19 pandemic, prompted the Netherlands economic growth to negotiate a deal by exorbitant -3.8% of GDP in 2020.